What if I told you one of the loudest voices in Syria's modern history began with a few words written by children on a wall, not by a politician, not by a soldier, not from a podium, by children? Welcome to Daraa. In 2011, a group of boys wrote words on a school wall that would become famous across Syria. إجاك الدور يا دكتور translates, it's your turn, doctor. Of course, they were referring to Bashar al-Assad. A few words on a wall written by boys who could never have imagined what would follow. They were detained and reportedly tortured. And when their families and the people of Daraa demanded their release, something's changed. Think about that. A school wall, a group of boys, a few words, and suddenly a country that had lived with fear for decades began hearing something different, a voice. That is why when I think of Daraa, I don't think first about monuments or landmarks. I think about what it cost for an ordinary human being to say enough. Because sometimes history doesn't begin in places. Sometimes it begins when someone who was expected to remain silent speaks. And perhaps that is what Daraa gave Syria. Not all the answers, not any knowledge of what would follow, what would come next, just the first voice saying, we will not pretend anymore. And there is something that I cannot get out of my mind. These words were written by children, hands small enough that became the hands that wrote something an entire country would remember. Daraa did not ask to become the first voice, but when that voice came, Syria heard it. I am Ali Issa, and that is a little piece of Syria.